Hey folks, welcome to the Workplace Innovator podcast. It's me, your host, Mike P, back with another episode and back with another well-known guest, someone who needs no introduction, so I won't give him one. Rex, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mike. It's great to be here.
Well, it's great to have you. It's been almost exactly a year since we last talked, and I always want to bring you on frequently. You've been a frequent flyer on this program. I appreciate your insight. I appreciate your encouragement during my long podcasting journey, and it continues. I just want to thank you for the Christmas card you sent a couple months ago.
Yeah, you
and
bet.
The encouragement included there from Genius Spark, a little Genius Spark quote book.
Right. Yeah.
What's the origin of this?
So there was a motivational speaker by the name of Jim Rohn, and Jim Rohn was Tony Robbins' mentor. I was good friends with Jim's promoter, so I got to go to several events, and they created these little treasury of quotes things.
Nice.
And I thought, wow, let's bring that back. You know, we can do our little twist on it and take quotes out of Genius Spark that you could just flip into. Every page has like 4 quotes. And
I love it.
It's been fun. And I'll probably do the same thing for each of my books to just make them easy and accessible and practical for folks.
I appreciate it. Well, listen, I'm a big inspirational and motivational quote guy, as you know, and I have asked you every time for one, but let's just go to the book. What do you say? I'll put my glasses on here.
Yeah, you pick one.
The topics
and maybe there's a backstory.
Yeah. The topics are across the board, everybody. This is, this is Rex sharing about knowing yourself and getting courage and living your genius. And just for context, Rex, my genius, according to you, and my Genius Spark mug, which you gave me a couple years ago, I'm positive, a communicator, and an activator, among other things. So thank you for that. What does that mean, by the way, for those that don't know?
Well,
DJ Mike P has been put through the psychological tests, and what did you discover when you analyzed the results?
Well, first, it's not psychological test. It's a psychometric analysis of how your brain works. So it's picking up on those fastest instincts through the Clifton strengths, and they have 34 different strengths, and they rank order them. So positivity is number 1 for you, but in there, you've got a hidden secret weapon, and that's the individualization strength. And individualization strength is like a walking strength finder. It allows you to also adapt your style to whoever you're with. So that makes you such an ideal podcast host because it's kind of that adapt and mirror and match and get in rhythm. It also is instinctive around talent. Who's a good fit and where do they fit? The final hidden aspect of it is that individualization allows you to do many things. You know, you could be a jack of all trades, and the challenge with individualization is that those people can do anything, but they can't do everything. So, that desire to want to try to do everything will be a challenge for you from time to time.
Absolutely. You identified some of my, greatest weaknesses, but also wrapped it in a lot of very complimentary language, which I appreciate. And I feel blessed and honored to have a job that aligns with quote unquote my genius.
Perfect. Yeah. Your strengths perfectly align with what you're doing.
Rex, I get paid to do this.
I know.
Come on.
I know.
How did this happen? It's fantastic. But again, my audience is really what I'm thinking of when I put these conversations together. And you said identifying the type of people who can help facility management, workplace leaders, corporate real estate folks. You are that individual, and that's why you come back so often. And one of the things we talked about a lot on this show over the years is collaboration and how to do that better. And this was interesting to me because it says in these quotes, the power of difference is what we should kind of notice. That an opposite is not your obstacle, it's your advantage. Friction isn't failure, it's the spark of innovation. Workplace Innovator. Collaboration begins when curiosity replaces judgment, and the best teams don't blend their differences. they orchestrate them.
Yeah.
Tell me more, Rex Miller.
Well, so all of us are wired that we assume the way other people think should be like ours. You know, we think everybody processes like we do. And if you've been married for any length of time, you know, that's not quite the case.
That is true.
My brilliant ideas, my wife doesn't always say, oh, wow, that's what I was thinking too. And
shocking. That's the case
a lot
here
of times.
as well.
Yeah, so if you think of the strengths like languages and dialogues, we speak a different, you know, your suite of 5 strengths, it's unique unto you. And then part of working well with you is my adapting. So I have achiever as a strength. Let's get it done, finished. You have activator. Let's get it started. Well, if we don't know each other and we haven't built trust, those two collide. You're always wanting to do something next. I'm always wanting to finish what we started. It's a natural tension.
Interesting. Yes.
So that's where the collaboration comes in unpacking, where under pressure, you will push that activator to more urgent stuff. And under pressure, I will just double down and just try to finish something. And then that's where the collisions happen. So part of it is when we feel that internal, you know, you'll feel something inside. It's called cortisol when there's that natural friction.
Right.
The antidote is curiosity. And if you can go in curious as to what's going on here and not assume, we have this acronym that I use when I begin to assume why you're being impulsive or, you know, not thorough, and I'm trying to finish it up. It's called NIMSU, and it stands for no information, make stuff up. And when I'm working with construction people, I use a different S for that.
Sure.
And so that's where the curiosity comes in. Otherwise, we'll just kind of lock down and I'll build this narrative about you, and then we won't be able to collaborate. So it takes work. It takes time to understand each other, and it takes time to practice under pressure. And project teams need to do that because they're always under pressure.
Oh, absolutely. And marketing teams. We did it here at Aptera last year. And I can't remember if we used Clifton Strengths or another variation, but it was identifying our personality types, our gifts, our strengths, weaknesses, all of that, for this direct reason, to help us know that just because you do it one way and you have a certain giftedness, you can't survive here without the other people that do it the other way or the opposite.
Absolutely.
And healthy friction, you mentioned friction is a great word because we always want to avoid friction, it seems, especially in our comfort-seeking, post-COVID, hobbit hole living world. And nobody wants to leave the house anymore and get uncomfortable and put on pants and take off their sweat, suit and actually get out and take a risk and meet somebody and be in that socially challenging scenario. Regardless of your personality, getting out of the house takes effort, and getting into these meetings, and whether it's a local IFMA event or Cornet down your way in Dallas, like we were at last year, that big event, IFMA conferences, they're all, great opportunities, but also can be challenges if we are not willing to, take that leap and put ourselves out, face our fears. So I love that reminder. And it's so funny in the context of, what I do here with workplace and work tech discussions around using technology to somehow make a better employee experience, a better workplace environment, a better frictionless employee experience. We talk about that a lot. It can almost go too far, right? If everything's, never perfect,
has gone too far.
What happens? Go ahead. Tell me more. Yeah. Why?
Well,
Why?
We stretch the rubber band to, remote and hybrid, and guess what? It's snapping back. And so we've gone through the romance of freedom and autonomy, and corporate leadership is saying not so much anymore. And the challenge is that we really didn't understand the underlying structure. There's something called regression to the mean.
Okay.
And what that means is that there's a system. Remember, the system gets the results that it's designed to get. It's perfectly designed to get the results it gets. Well, we never changed the system. We never changed the structures of organizations. We never changed the financial incentive of the organization. We never changed the decision-making structure. So ultimately, over time, it's going to go back to where it was before the pandemic. And there will be some exceptions, and we'll be able to learn by the outliers. There'll be a few outliers that we want to study to show us, okay, how do we break through the 4-minute mile? How do we break that barrier or break through the sound barrier? But we're going to continue to see, because the power structure is what it is. And as jobs become more in jeopardy, the new world order of AI and employment and companies going towards more efficiency.
Sure. Yeah.
You'll see that power swing back again. So hopefully we'll figure out, in a perfect world, we should be able to work anywhere, anytime, any place, because that's what the medium allows us to do best. But we don't have the structures that help us really channel that.
Yes. So where does that structure come from, Rex? Is it a leadership question? Is it a culture question? Is it all of the above? Because you were describing the regression to the mean, and I thought of this idea that there's this thing, quiet quitting, you read about all the time, where everybody out there in a remote job or a hybrid job is doing the bare minimum. Oh, they're requiring me to come in on Wednesday. I'll come in, but then I'm back out. And then it's like, they all want me just to do the bare minimum to keep my job. And that's not going to help anybody thrive. And no company's going to thrive, but no individual is going to flourish, because we all in our deepest selves, I think, want to achieve more than the bare minimum. Am I onto something there?
Absolutely. Well, for the same reason, Gallup's done this engagement survey since about 2000. Those numbers haven't shifted. You got 30% of the workforce that is engaged, giving you their best, probably aligning with how they're wired to work, like your job. You're wired, you're aligned, you come in, give your A game, and it's not like you're going above and beyond. It's just you get to do what you love doing.
Thankful to, yeah.
50% of people are not aligned or engaged, and they do the minimum. So, they'll do a good job if you tell them what to do, how to do it, and follow up and make sure they did it. 20% are so disengaged and misaligned that they actually do damage to the team and the organization.
Oh, sabotage. Yeah.
So the structure is, and I wrote a book in 2015 called Change Your Space, Change Your Culture. We addressed that corporate structures are designed to create fragmentation. You're not connected to the output of what you do. You see a piece of it, but you don't see the whole thing. The orders, the power chain. So it's designed to create disengagement and stress. Organizations are designed to do that. So now the question is there an organization that, has this engagement level and giving people agency and autonomy and right fit in the right role? And people come in every day eager and wanting to do their best and go home happier and healthier at the end of the day. But that's not what companies are measured on. And that's not what executives, they didn't get to the top of the ladder by being nice and genuine.
Yeah. You're ringing the same bell that our friend, Brian Berthold of Cushman and Wakefield, Cushman and Wakefield shared with us. If you haven't seen that episode, folks, go back and check it. It was just a few episodes ago. And Brian and his team have developed a way to measure employee experience
per square foot. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was really, right aligned with what you're saying, Rex. And he's trying to put something in place, a tool in place that will allow us to shift the structure of our organizations in this new world of work. And I want to ask you more about the world of work. And I know you have a lot of strong feelings about the rubber band of hybrid snapping back and what our audience specifically can do about it, because we are talking to facility management and workplace leaders. But before I go there, I got to pause and ask about music. I want to thank you again, always feeding me great stuff. You know my love of Conan O'Brien and my aspirational, hairdos when I try to get my hair to stand up like his. But you also know my love of music, and you shared this great link to a YouTube channel about the history of something or everything. And then it was like about the Beatles and their role in history. And Conan, huge Beatles fan, huge music fan. I've never seen him talk so seriously about a topic, because it wasn't about being a comedian. It was about how important the Beatles music was. What did you take away from that interview?
Well, I loved it. And I listened to it through the lens. I oftentimes listen to things through the lens of friends and relationships. And my son, who just graduated with a degree and has a music degree and an engineering degree, he's a huge Beatle aficionado. So all things Beatle. Yeah. And so I listened to it, and I learned new little stories. I grew up with the Beatles. I'm 71 next week. I'm 71.
Wow.
So
it's amazing. Come on. Anybody saw the post about Vic Bangia and I and our mullets?
Yes,
go to that thread on LinkedIn, because Rex shared a picture of himself and with his
Prince
full flowing hair.
Yeah, right.
That's what's under the hat, I'm sure, still, Rex.
Right. Yeah.
But go ahead. I digress. That's amazing. 71, never looking better. I'm sure you're my hero.
Yeah. There you go.
I hope to make it that far.
Well, yeah. So I love all things Beatles, especially the Sgt. Pepper era, and when they started going into that more experimental, social kind of music. I grew up with the Bob Dylans and the Rolling Stones and all of that, because I grew up in the 60s. But the song now is the REM song. It's The End of the World, and that and Billy Joel's "We Didn't Start the Fire." Those are the two things that are the theme song for 2026 for all of us.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that for sure. And now you're talking my era of the 80s and REM, and that hit was huge back then. And same with Billy. And I love those references. I will tell you though, again, positivity, number one on the list, folks.
Yeah,
I can't help but align with the Beatles and their most played song on Spotify. Do you know what it is? Do. Here comes the sun. Do.
No kidding.
And it's all right. It's all right, Rex. That was written, I think, during the Vietnam era, and they were singing about "Here Comes the Sun," and it's all right. And we all have to, choose how we're going to respond to the chaos around us, I think.
So in the 34 strengths, positivity is in my bottom 10. So
all right, well, go put the Beatles on.
I'm more of the reality therapy person rather than the, hey, we're going to get through this person.
Well, that's why we're opposite, and we cause a nice, healthy friction here on this show.
Ebony and ivory.
That's right. Side by side on my keyboard. Oh, Lord, why can't we? Listen, I love this, and I know this conversation is moving by way too fast, but I do want to ask you for some, goals for 2026 or some of your focus. I know you're probably going to be speaking to a lot of corporate groups. You'll be speaking at a lot of our industry conferences. I'll see you at IFMA, hopefully, and other places. What do you think my audience should be doing now here in 2026 to move the needle for their organization? I think we all have this feeling we don't really have the power to make a difference, but what can they do?
Yeah, so you can make a difference by starting with people who are equally frustrated with the things you're frustrated with. And change doesn't happen until someone gets frustrated and then finds a collection of other people equally frustrated. And you just begin a journey of first conversation, book club, pilot, find an outlier, bring it in, let's try it here. The Fellowship of the Rings, the hero's journey, that is the journey we're all on. There's something that you want to change for the better. And whether it's just a better version of you or bringing some more understanding and appreciation for health and wellness in the workplace, it all starts with let's get the conversation started. Let's find out others who are further ahead than we are. What can we learn from them? What can we take back inside? That was the genesis of the 5 books I wrote, was a common frustration about something in our industry and finding other people that were equally frustrated and say, well, let's get together and what do we want to do about this type of thing? So we have to move from think tank to do tank. And
I like that.
And the lesson, anybody can do it. I mean, if you looked at my backstory, when I started this as a demoted vice president of sales during the dot-com crash, near bankruptcy, and then being able to bring industry people together, I mean, leaders that were so frustrated with the way the conflict and the waste in capital projects. That was, that changed my whole trajectory and my whole career. And, an office furniture dealership recruiting the chief architect of GSA or the executive director of AIA or principals at Gensler. I mean, who would give me any time at all, except I understood the pain point and they felt the pain point. They said, well, if you can pull some people together, we want to be part of the discussion. And that was the genesis of it all.
You asked the question. You asked the uncomfortable question. You took the initiative. Right. It's little steps. It's not going to change overnight, folks. It's not going to happen in an instant. But if you're willing to put yourself out there and you find people that are aligned with you philosophically, not like you maybe gifted-wise, but we go back to where we started and find a well-rounded group that you can collaborate with, the Lord of the Rings analogy holds true. But the big thing there, I always say, Rex, and I remember this during my time in the Hobbit hole, I loved saying I needed Gandalf to come and cast the vision.
Right.
You need a Gandalf to say, this is where we want to go,
right? And
we need you to get there. And that's what a great workplace leader does, right?
Well, and we had those. And, the opportunity is you can get the interest and then go to an IFMA event or go to a CoreNet event where you can actually get some time and say, hey, let's talk about it. That's what we did.
Yeah.
We got the curiosity and then we had our little kind of sidebar, first venting session, then where do we go with this session? And then, let's schedule an event session and see who shows up.
Yeah, I hope to see more of that this year and into the future. More of those, I don't know what you call them, round tables or breakout sessions. Less, and not that it's bad, not having a speaker talk to thousands at once, talking at them, but I've seen IFMA do its best to try to bring in more of those workshops and those experts who can start the ball rolling and then to get a conversation going in our community. And I think maybe that is something I'm called to do as the host of this podcast and my other shows. Yeah. And having the connections I have been blessed with in this industry is, just get a few people together and start a, I'll get an elf and I'll get a hobbit and I'll get all the different elements of a Lord of the Rings type roundtable and go on a big adventure together. So you would certainly be included in that. I appreciate all you've done.
Thank you. Yep.
And I thank you once again for joining me here on the Workplace Innovator podcast.
You're welcome, Mike. And we'll see you on the road someplace.
See you soon, Rex Miller. And we'll see all of you soon, I hope. I hope you have enjoyed this brief but exciting and fun discussion. And if you did find anything of value in this conversation, please do me a favor and share this podcast with a colleague or a friend, anyone who you think might like to join us as we continue on our journey to encourage and inspire you to be a workplace innovator.